with new candidates for our fellows. So we are very near now. Mostly I worked directly as a therapist with the drug addict persons and their families. So about 20 years till now I established 11 centers in Slovenia. 3 of them they are residential one. Another 2 more after your last visit in Slovenia. This is good news. But now I'm not involved in those organizations and those programs as a director and as well as a therapist. In those organizations now I just teach the therapists. Now I work on the rehabilitation, University Rehabilitation Institute. I have a lot of management duties. I teach the students on the faculty in Koper. This is our Slovenian city on the coast. I live there, and I teach the future therapist in another university in the Ljubljana city. This is Slovenian capital city, Ljubljana. There is now established a new faculty for the psychotherapists. So this is something very new in Slovenia, that it's possible after the medium school immediately started with the faculty for the psychotherapy.
You have to be psychologist, or you can be...
No, they can be directly psychotherapists, yeah, directly. This is very new, unique. A lot of criticism too, from oldest views. So we will see. I was invited just for one of the teachers. So I'm not involved in the core of the team, or
okay.
I can't influence on the logical or the basic, the most important decisions. I'm just a teacher for the 2 subjects. Maybe more than enough about this. You're welcome to come to the Slovenia if you are not so far in Slovenia. So many of the people, they are afraid of Slovenia, that there are war there, or it's really destroyed country, or I know it's 200 years besides the time.
You had a war for so how many days?
10 days.
10 days war. Okay.
When Yugoslavia split around on the pieces, the war began in Slovenia, directly in my country, but it was just 10 days. This is 13 years ago, and after this is a peace. We have a lot of tourists, and so you will for sure not regret to come to Slovenia. If you want to drink better beer than in Belgium, yeah, you see the title of my presentation. Now it's really time to speak a little more seriously about the presentation. Emotional rehabilitation, that's what we do, bonding therapies, besides all other things, of course, cognitive rehabilitation and other things. I want to discuss with you a little bit more about the specific role about the basic emotion of love. Is love a basic emotion? This is a question, but not on the way that I have a doubt, like love is not basic emotion. This is not the question. But it's more put on the way that if the love is just the basic emotion, or it is something even more. And we have some another, I believe, interesting questions or the fields of the continuum of the discussion, as for example, how is with the specific methods we have for this emotion. Because as we know, for example, we can do a lot with the basic emotion. For example, anger. We have this, not just math work, we have this math cube and other things to do with the basic emotion of anger, something more and something more specific. Do we have the same thing, the same specific methods with the love? It's not so. Maybe we will discuss in our discussion something else, but I will start with the starting point that this is very important emotion. From one of you is the final emotion through the emotional process, but it's maybe it's a pity or interesting that this is maybe not just the basic emotion, but it's maybe the most important emotions. But we have more important is the less methods, specific methods we have. So my presentations is more a wish to have more discussion between the therapists about love and about what we can do maybe more on this basic emotion. This is not my starting point that I will teach you about love like I know more than you, for example, or like that you don't know enough about love. It's not how I put the title. As we know enough, and we know very good that there are different thoughts about the basic emotions. Some says that really basic emotions, there are just two of them. This is pleasure and unpleasure or non-pleasure. And that all others already, they are secondary emotions, including love, anger, fear, emotional pain, and so on. So this is one possibility.
Some people say pleasure and pain.
Non-pleasure maybe it's like a synonym. Because at the newborn, very first day, we saw these two possibilities.
Sorry?
At the newborn, we see or pleasure or unpleasure, or you said pain, and not other emotions. They are more specific. So through the evolutionary process of the human being, we can speak about love, anger, fear as a secondary emotions. But this is not the main point of my presentation. So maybe we agree or disagree, or we can put this as open questions. It's not the main core or the main question of the presentation. We know and we teach and we work on the Lancastrian based, so we have these 5 basic emotions, but this is far away to be the common concept of the world that like this is the truth about the basic emotions. As we can see on another theoretical views, we can speak about much more basic emotions, not only about 5. Godehard spoke, I know, 2, 3, maybe more years ago about one wonderful presentations about the emotions and many other things, and he corrects some basic theoretics on the emotions, and we see there is not agreement and there is not common concept about the basic emotions. Some speaks about 8 and 5 as Casrian and as others. Some speak about 6, 5, 8, or even more basic emotions. But if we compare the basic emotions between these common theoretics, we see very different basic emotions. And what is surprising, you can see the basic emotions love just at the Kaiser. If you take time, you will not see the love as the basic emotions. Nobody else, but their famous name as a Blutchik and others. They speak.
And the other 4 are very common.
Yeah, much more than Kaiser. They speak about the, let's say, similar emotions to love. for example, joy. But even joy is not a common. So we are far away to be on the common concept about the basic emotions so far now on the world. We can speak from one of you about love like similar emotions to the joy, happiness, and pleasure, and maybe we can speak. This is another way of discussion. Maybe we can even define love on some of these ways, because as there are many concepts about the basic emotions, there are also many concepts about basic emotion of love. We can speak about love, that the love is just the I say just, so this means it's not really my definition. Like the love is just expectation of pleasure. This is one possible way to look out on the basic emotion of love. From this starting point, we can combine the love with so-called similar emotions as there are happiness, joy, or of course of pleasure. Love can be maybe just a synonym for the pleasure relationship, for the secure relationship, for the relationship which provides the pleasure, happiness, joy, and so on. Another possible definition and another possible way to look out on the love is much more wiser, maybe it's not so emotional anymore, but it's more vision. Then the love is much more not just basic emotion, not just the sense of life, but for religious people is love more less the emotion, but more the spiritual reality. From the Bible, you can find that many definitions of love very similar to the definitions of God, of the transcendental reality. I will not speak about God, not how we understand his or it, or how you will put it. It's very different if you are atheistic or theistic, or which religion you belong. Also the atheists are not the one side of the people and the mentality. There are many different types. This is not the problem for our presentation now, just we want to be open that there are many different views if you want to speak. If you use the Western civilization dominant religious as a Christian religion, then you can find like the definition love comes from God and for God is love. From the Christian point of view, we must be careful not to combine love is God and God is love, because it's not written so. From this point of view, then we spoke more about the New Age spirituality, where is maybe danger or even wish to define the God as emotion. God is love and love is God, then the God is emotion. This is the reduction of God through the religious point of view. So it's written, love comes from God, not love is God and God is love. There are colors, so it's text is it's not missing, but we can't see it. I brought one picture from the Communist House, another presentation to show these three basic relationships, possible.